Good morning. It's Wednesday, January 20th, and you're looking at a live view of Falcon 9 as it awaits its 8:02 a.m. Eastern Time launch from Pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center. My name is Jesse Anderson, a lead manufacturing engineer at Spacex, joining you from our headquarters in Hawthorne, California. You're watching a live webcast for our 17th Starlink mission and our second mission of 2021. If you've been following Starlink development, then you know that Starlink is a constellation of multiple satellites that orbit the planet at about 550 kilometers with the potential to service the entire globe. And because they're in a low orbit, the round-trip data time between the user and the satellite, also known as latency, is much lower than with satellites in geostationary orbit. This enables Starlink to deliver services like seamless video calls that are usually not possible on other satellite internet services. And because Starlink's satellites fly in a global constellation, we can bring high-speed internet to places that previously had terrible service or no service at all. While this is our first Starlink mission of 2021, it is also notable because we are attempting to fly and land a Falcon 9 first stage for the 8th time, a first for Falcon 9. This booster debuted on our Demonstration 1 mission in March of 2019 and then flew again 3 months later on RadarSat Constellation mission. In 2020, it supported 4 Starlink missions as well as the SXM-7 mission at the end of the year. And we will be attempting to recover the booster again on our drone ship, Just Read the Instructions, and that's what you see on your screen, stationed off the coast of Florida in the Atlantic Ocean. If we are successful, it will mark the 72nd recovery of our Falcon 9 first stage. Falcon 9 was designed for 10 or more flights with minimal refurbishment between each flight, and today's flight gets us closer to that goal. Currently, we're at T-minus 14.5 minutes, and all systems are go for an on-time liftoff at 8:02 a.m. Eastern Time. Let's take a closer look at the rocket that you see on your screen. And Falcon 9 is in startup. There's that call out. Falcon 9 is in startup. Now we're waiting for the go for launch from the launch director in a few seconds here.
Starlink, Falcon 9, LD is go for launch.
And there's that call out that we are go for launch this morning. So at T-minus 30 seconds, all systems are go for launch. So let's listen into the terminal count and watch as Falcon 9 takes our Starlink satellites into orbit.
Stage 1 press for flight.
Minus 15 seconds.
Falcon 9 is configured for flight.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
Propulsion is nominal.
At T-plus 40 seconds, we've got a beautiful view of Falcon 9 successfully lifting off
Telemetry is nominal.
From Pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center, carrying our stack of Starlink satellites to orbit. And we are throttling down the vehicle, the engines, in preparation for max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure. This is the largest structural load that the vehicle sees on ascent, so slowing down the vehicle helps us pass through the short period.
Max Q.
And there's that call out that we've passed through max Q. Now, in about a minute, we'll have 3 events happening. That'll be main engine cutoff, or what we call MECO, stage separation, and SES-1, which is second engine start 1. Now, MECO is where we shut down all 9 of those M1D engines on the first stage to slow the vehicle down in preparation for stage separation. And that's where the first stage separates from the second stage. first stage will start making its way.
Back is chilling.
First stage will start making its way back to Earth for landing, while second stage continues on its journey with the third event, which is SES-1, or Second Engine Start 1. And that's where we light up the MVAC engine, and it propels the second stage along with the Starlink satellites to orbit. We've just got some awesome views on the screen. Such a beautiful morning. We're just about 15 seconds away from those three events: MECO, stage separation, and SES-1.
And MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition and throttle up.
And there you just saw MECO and stage separation on your left-hand screen. On your right-hand screen is the second stage. We're waiting on fairing deploy coming up here shortly.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And there you could see the fairing halves have been deployed, and you can see them falling back to Earth. And with that stage separation, that confirms the 8th successful flight for this Falcon 9 booster on ascent. So very exciting. And as a reminder, we will be attempting to recover the fairing halves today with our recovery ships Mystery and Mischief. Just a little over a minute away from that entry burn start on the first stage. And what you see on your screen is a view looking forward on the left-hand screen. Now we've changed to the looking aft on first stage. And on your right-hand screen is a view of that MVAC engine on second stage. That second stage engine, that MVAC engine, has a thrust of 220,500 pounds of thrust in a vacuum. It's a pretty powerful engine there. And we're just about 20 seconds or so away from that entry burn on the first stage. You can see those grid fins are deployed, helping to steer the vehicle. And we do use nitrogen gas burst for attitude control.
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
Stage 1, entry burn startup.
There's that call out and visual of the entry burn on the first stage on your left-hand screen. So it lasts about 20 seconds long.
Stage 1, entry burn, shut down.
And that concludes the entry burn on first stage. And as a reminder, at our recovery site in the Atlantic Ocean, ground level winds are in the forecast today. These winds are potentially stronger than what Falcon 9 has experienced on
Nominal trajectories.
That was just a call out that everything is nominal. These winds are potentially stronger than what Falcon 9 has experienced on previous flights. Therefore, today's mission will be what we call an envelope expansion on our first stage landing wind performance, meaning we're going to test the wind limits of our vehicle upon landing. So let's see if we can stick this landing
Stage
today.
1, landing burn, startup.
There's that call out. Landing burn has started on first stage. Let's see if we can stick this landing. There's a view of the drone ship on your left-hand screen.
Stage 1, landing leg, deploy.
Looks like we lost that live view on the first stage. We'll wait for confirmation. And there you can see on your screen, we have landed the Falcon 9 for the 8th time. This is our life leader. What an amazing morning. That is an awesome view. And we're just waiting for Seco 1 on second stage.
And Seco.
And there's that call out for Seco 1. Waiting for confirmation of good orbit.
Nominal insertion.
And there's that call out for good orbit on second stage. What an exciting morning. We've landed that first stage for the 8th time. And now that second stage is going to coast.
Signal, Newfoundland.
Second stage is now going to coast in this orbit for the next 35 minutes or so. And while that happens, take a look at this, the animation. We'll have an animation showcasing where we are in the coast phase. So we'll see you back here at T plus 45 minutes for that second stage relay. Welcome back to the webcast for Starlink. We had an on-time liftoff this morning at 8:02 a.m. Eastern Time, followed by the completion of the first 8th flight and recovery for this booster, which is a first for Falcon 9, and despite those stronger winds. Today marks our 65th landing of Falcon 9 and 72nd successful recovery of a first stage. We're now just waiting for the relight of our second stage, or SES-2, coming up here in a few seconds. It'll be a short 1-second burn. Just waiting for that call out. Again, it's just a 1-second burn, so it's very quick, but it does go a long way for this second stage.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And there we heard that call out for good nominal insertion. Again, we just had SES-2 and Seco-2, just a quick burn of that second stage engine. We have another 15-minute coast phase before we deploy our next batch of satellites into orbit. And during this time, the spacecraft will start to spin along its central axis, giving the Starlink satellites the momentum they need to space themselves out over time after they deploy. While this happens, sit back and enjoy the space jams. We'll see you back here at T plus 1 hour and 4 minutes. Welcome back to our webcast. We had an on-time liftoff this morning, and again, our life leader vehicle completed the first 8th flight and recovery for a Falcon 9. Now we're coming up on the deployment of our stack of Starlink satellites in just a few seconds here. So we will listen in and watch live as the payload deploys. Got the sun beaming into our camera view there.
Payload deploy confirmed.
What you are seeing live are those Starlink satellites in space, drifting away from our second stage, which confirms deployment. Shortly, they will deploy their solar array, and over the next few days and weeks, they will distance themselves from each other and use their onboard ion thrusters to make their way to their operational orbit. Beautiful live view. And that brings our webcast to a close. Thank you to the range and the FAA for supporting today's mission. And thanks to all of our viewers, as well as all of those in the US, Canada, and the UK who ordered Starlink under our public beta program. If you're interested in being a part of our beta program, head over to starlink.com and sign up. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.